Hey guys, so I don't know if you are aware that now in Ontario or Toronto, I'm not sure if it's the whole of Ontario, but I know that Toronto and the GTA, basically there is a law that's passed that now officers can stop you and request you to take a breathalyzer regardless if they suspect you of being intoxicated or not. So there's a definite problem with that, but I do want to be a little shady and say that they're not even taking the fact that people are getting their cars stolen right off their driveway day and night all over the province of Ontario, a lot of Canada too, but especially Ontario, seriously. So they're not putting in new rules and regulations for how they're arresting these people, funding for special units to go after these people or target these people. They're not putting enough energy and policing towards stopping that crime and minimizing that crime in Toronto, except for saying leave your fobs and your keys at the front of the door, which is ridiculous and is a joke in itself. And we've been joking about it for months now since the officers have said that. But now they want to kind of bend the law in their favor with our rights, making it that they can give us breathalyzers. And I know to people like, well, if you're not drinking, it shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, that is absolutely true. And I'm one to think like that. But here's the issue. We're in 2024. Let's not forget that they were trying to enforce masks and they did that, right? They were trying to enforce officers to implement certain COVID regulations and laws, and the officers weren't going for that. That wasn't beneficial for them, right? It wasn't beneficial for the officers, it wasn't beneficial for the officers' family, extended family, it wasn't beneficial for police forcing. But restricting you or restricting your right to tell you that you have to take a breathalyzer regardless if you're drinking or not opens up the door for them to now enforce other rules or bend it at the site when they stop you to say, well, you know, if you kind of voluntarily took a breathalyzer, can I search your vehicle? Oh, you kind of, can I this or can, well, yes, technically, but at this section, law section code, and they're getting you, and because we all don't know the law at the back of our hands, they know that they can get away with these things. I don't think this is a good idea. I think this opens up rules and regulations for other things that we're not going to like. I know that a lot of people are not going to go out and protest it. I know that a lot of people are not going to waste their time because it's like, let's take drunk drivers off the road. And I am all for that. Who isn't all for that, right? But people that do drink and drive occasionally and people who do drink and drive often are not going to like this law the most, but no one wants to come out and protest it because they're like, no one wants to be against drunk driving. And that's not the point. It's not about being against drunk driving. It's the fact that what does this now mandate, law, rule, regulation, however you want to put it in context, on paper, how does this now allow them to get away with other sneaky and underhanded things that we might not understand that will be implemented and indefinite into our law system, especially not just here, but other places might look at saying they're going to do the same thing. We have to be mindful of what they're doing and say that, enough is enough. You're not doing your job here in this area, but you want to overly regulate another area that we all are cautious of. Like, we all have the common sense of. And I honestly think another point too that I forgot to mention in the beginning is that I think too with this breathalyzer, does it have something to do with the fact that Canada has made weed legal? Does the breathalyzer detect weed and your highness? Will it detect that? Will it detect your impaired ability to drive when smoking under influence? And we know that smoking under influence isn't good in any country, so we know that, but people do it. So this becomes a situation that, is it going to detect that too? No one's thinking these things completely through, right? No one's thinking it through. Like, is it going to detect other substances in your body other than alcohol? And I think it does because they use breathalyzers to detect if you are under the influence of other things. We've seen, memes and clips and snips of this type of situation happening to people. So I don't understand how people are not more outraged than this. It's a little concerning.